So last time we were here, we were talking about nothing and something and how that sort of derived information. We're able to discover what it meant for something to be the same or something to be different. And we kind of got something about a set going on where information belonged to a set. I've done this a few times, and like I think I said in the last video, you could have a difference of differences. And I've gone down that rabbit hole for quite a far ways. You can have the sameness of differences. You can have the difference of differences and the sameness and difference and all this kind of crazy stuff. It gets to be a tongue twister. So instead, we're going to try to create labels as we go along. Well, we already said that information is just a noticeable difference. So when you have the same information, it's the sameness of differences. Or if you have a difference of information, or that information is different, then that's like saying you have a difference of differences, but it makes it a little bit more clear. So we said that we had information, that these are different, but they're different in the same way that they're different from this, that all of these are different in the same way. That type of information we've learned to call color. There's no specific reason why we call it color, it's just how it happened to be because it's so common. And the most common ones are going to be the ones that we discover first, those sets. There's an order to sets sometimes, and other sets are unordered. Color, in instance, you can say that orange comes before yellow and then blue comes next, and that'd be a part of the rainbow where red comes first, green would be right here, and then we finally have purple at the end. We see this and we say the set is like this because of the natural world. The rainbow happens like this every single time. And if you knew the science behind color, you might have another explanation for why it is in this order. But we could say that instead, the order should be like this. Is there any reason for that? No, but if we grew up learning it was always like this, then we would just know that the rainbow is out of order from what we have. Of course, we're not going to complicate things by making the rainbow a different color, but what if I had a different set? Let's say the alphabet. The alphabet starts with A and goes B, C, D. But why does it start with A? Is there, like a rainbow, a natural reason that A starts at the beginning and then it goes B and C? There's a history, sure, but history just means that we've been doing it that way for a long time. Why doesn't the alphabet start with just the vowels and then the consonants? This set is an example of an ordered set, but it's kind of arbitrary why it's ordered like that. What about an unordered set? Like a list of the foods that I like. I can say that I like a food or that I don't like a food. That's a difference, so there's information there. And there's a difference between the foods that I like, but there's no order at all. I could order it, I don't even think I could order it in the way that I first started liking the foods. I don't remember which food I started liking first. I could try to order them alphabetically, but some of these foods are foreign and they might have different names, and that would change their listing in the alphabetical order, so that's kind of weird too. Instead, it's just a group, and they're different from each other, but there's no specific order. So sets have a lot of interesting things. They can be ordered or unordered, and there's a lot of different sets. Color, favorite foods, the alphabet, a lot of things like that. Soon, we'll even talk about a special set, and that is that when you have nothing, you get one thing. And this is different than nothing, and we'll put that there. Then you could have another thing, and this is different from just one object in the same way that this one object is different than nothing. We just simply add that same object. And then we could add a third object, and this is different from these two in the same way that this one is different than just the one, and in the same way that this one is different than that. And we could keep stringing them together. I could add another one on, a fourth one, and because I have this same change. This is kind of creating a set of individual blocks that we call counting. And we're going to touch on that more later, but it's interesting because without having any other blocks or any other objects to compare it to, just to comparing itself to nothing, we're able to create counting, which you likely know is the basis of all math, which is the basis of a lot of everything, a whole bunch of patterns. We're going to touch on that in a minute, though. Instead, for the last thing for this video, let's notice that we were comparing this to nothing. We're comparing something to nothing. And of course, I'm using wooden blocks because they're very simple. They have practically one quality, just their color and the fact that they exist. But when we're comparing to nothing, that's something I'm going to keep coming back to because I think it's very important. When we're comparing to nothing, we can compare anything to nothing. This is different than nothing. This pen is different from nothing. The sticky note, which we have some of our ideas on, is different than nothing. Something being different from nothing. It's you either have nothing or you have something. That's two different states. And these two different states are really powerful. Like when we're counting, we keep comparing it to the previous state. We say that this is nothing, and then we add something on. And then we say that this is nothing, and then we add something on. We're just building up. We could view all sets and all information. It's just building up between nothing at all and something. And then it's just creating more interesting patterns between that, creating different sets, having different ideas for this, but it's all coming back down to something or nothing. That basis, we're going to speculate, holds true for other fields of interest, other ideas that we're going to have. So we should keep that in mind. Nothing relates everything, and being able to compare something against nothing is the most basic set. Something and nothing. That's the most basic set that we could possibly have, and that maybe we can build up every other set off of that idea. So I'm going to add that to our list. Let's quickly recap. We have information. We have differences, which is information, and we have the sameness. And now we're starting to say we can build sets up. And these can be arbitrary, they can be natural, they could be completely made up like the alphabet, but very useful and a part of a long history. But we're starting to get onto something. We're starting to answer what information is and what it can be used for. Let's keep going from here.